Hello, this is your host Lakota Ravoc, and we're going to continue playing TIMBERBORN. Now, we've got about 1 day left for our drought, and we had just barely completed this marvel of engineering, this large dam. Damn! So that we can put down an aquatic farmhouse. But we're not going to do that just yet. We've got some work to do. We need to complete this marvel. We need to get up these stairs.
My old enemy.
And start building all this. But before we do that, we need to cut down all these trees. So first order of business, get up here, get this built, clear out these trees. And then we're going to start building all this. All right, so we're going to do like we normally do. We're going to go on the super fast mode and let these guys start working. And apparently we need to also build a new power wheel. Let's high prioritize all this stuff. Place down a new power wheel here. And we've got some other projects that we're going to do in the process of all this. But first things first, let's just take stock of all of our inventory. We've got 5 water tanks, 2 pumpers.
What?
Our drought's already started, which we're going to pause these pumpers for right now. We've got fields of carrots and sunflower seeds. And we've got our forester planting all these trees. Our food's doing good. We're over almost 500. And our water's doing okay. I think we're going to need more tanks though. So what we're going to start doing is we're going to start laying this out and finishing it up. And like always, blocking off any trees from possibly growing. All right, we're going to need to be able to get up here as well. So we're going to need some staircases. And since I've got enough science, we're going to unlock this triple floodgate. I'm going to put that right here. As you see, they've already started building these stairs, so we just gotta let them work and get this done. Our only downfall right now is that we have 0 logs, so it's making it difficult to build anything. Once a lot of these trees start growing, our lumberjacks will be able to take down the trees and we'll start being able to produce a lot faster. And when we finally get up here, we'll be able to take all these trees out and use them towards the new construction. Now, typically, a bad tide doesn't start till cycle 6. On normal mode. Sometimes the rarity is that it happens on cycle 5. So we just got to hope that we get through that extra cycle and be able to get a lot of this built. Now, because our food is also a factor, we want to put more fields down in this area. All right. That's the beginning of cycle 5. Our drought's ended. We're going to get our log pumpers working again because our beavers are going to start getting thirsty. Now, another thing we're going to need to unlock are some of these suspension bridges. We're going to need these to help build this because we're going to need to go over or around our triple floodgates because you can't walk through them. So it poses an interesting problem. But another thing we can do is we can leave these here and they can actually build these floodgates and go across here and build this wall. The only thing holding us back is how fast these trees can grow. But another project I want to put in place is going to be a second farmhouse here. And putting that on a lower priority means that they're not going to build it right away. So we need this because we need more beavers to be able to harvest. So one farmhouse is going to plant, the other one's going to harvest. It's going to speed up our food production. And once we get these lodges filled, then we'll have enough beavers to do all the work we're doing right now. And eventually we can start our apartment complex over here. But goal number 1 is getting this built. It looks like we got some trees being cut down right now. That's terrific. So they are working on production as we speak. And we've already started building some new planks as well. We're also going to drop a couple more inventor huts for any beavers that aren't working. And we've got these lodges being constructed right now. That means we're going to up our beaver intake to a total of 24 with these houses. So that's going to help our workload out a lot. We're also going to add some extra temporary small tank storage for water. Because ultimately we want to get up to these medium tanks and then the large tanks. And these large tanks, they're going to hold a lot more. So a medium tank holds 10 times as much as a small tank. And a large tank holds 4 times as much as a medium tank. So you go from 30 units to 300 units to 1200 units. These large tanks are terrific because once we get this built, this reservoir here, this is going to become a water gathering location for these large water pumps because they can collect a lot more water in a shorter period of time. and we'll be able to store a lot more water for our beavers. We'll never have water problems once we get these large tanks and these large water pumps up and going. Unfortunately, they take some hefty resources. The large water pumps, they need treated planks. That's more of an end game resource. And the large tanks, they require metal blocks. That's about mid game. Thankfully, we've got some metal right here, which will be easily accessible once we build our dam. And we got some over here, which is going to be easily accessible right as soon as we're done with these stairs. But we don't need to get it right now. So this is something we're planning for in our future. Again, our main goal is to get this built. And thankfully, a lot of our trees have grown. So we're going to be able to get a lot of wood in a short period of time now. We've got 3 logging camps, so they're going to collect a lot of these trees very quickly. We've got our power wheel connected to our lumber mill. That means they're going to be able to make planks for us. And those planks can go straight into the staircase, which they're about 3/4 of the way done already. So we should be up there pretty shortly, hopefully by the end of the cycle. They've already completed the other inventor shacks, and they're currently working on also building our storage area. So now they can store more sunflower seeds and keep that as a stockpile. We've got the extra water tanks up now, so we have a total of 9 water tanks. This should keep us nice and well hydrated during the droughts.
Hydration, hydration, hydration.
And it looks like they even started working on our new farmhouse. And we got another drought approaching, so that's terrific. That means next cycle is going to be our first bad tide, and hopefully we can get a lot of this dam built by that time. Uh-oh. Let's slow this down. It looks like we got an injured beaver.
That's what she said.
Right here, little Jamudu. He's got an injury. So we're probably going to have to use some of our science to unlock the medical bed. Thankfully, it's only 80 science. It's not going to hurt us too badly. And we're going to place that right up here. We'll put 2 down. These will get moved eventually, because we're going to probably want to put something else here. Now, don't worry, that little guy, he'll heal himself over time. It'll just take longer. But it looks like they've already got one of the medical beds being built. Thankfully, they only take 5 logs and a plank, so it doesn't use a lot of resources. And our orchard is doing really well. So we've got plenty of logs coming out of this. Eventually, the maples, the chestnuts, and the pines won't be cut down for future wood usage. They'll be used for actual resources. So like the pine eventually gives you pine resin. The chestnut trees give you chestnuts, and the maples give you sap, which technically is sap, not maple syrup. But here they call it maple syrup. So we'll be using those trees for their natural resources later and rely heavily on the oaks and the birch. And something we'll probably do later is over here, we'll clear this out and make this into an entire oak orchard. So we get tons of wood from those oaks. Our stairs are built. We've got log cutters up there. We've got 19 adult beavers and 4 children. So we've got, make that 5 children. We've got plenty of beavers to do work. So we're going to clean this up a little bit. Just as our drought starts, we'll shut off our log pumpers again. We've got plenty of water to keep us going. And they've got these stairs getting built, so we'll be able to get over to this side pretty easily and cut down these trees as well. Something else we're going to have to do is eventually we're going to have to move these lumberjack flags closer to the wood that they're going to need to cut down, because their range is going to get diminished. See, like over here, he can only cut as far as this line. And like always, we fill in all the spots that have stumps with road to get rid of those stumps. And as you can see here, they've already got some of the dam built. Beavers are marvelous creatures, very industrious. Our water's holding strong after a couple of days. We've got 3 days left here, so we're doing pretty good, but we may want to turn on 1 pumper just because. Our logs are doing well, and we've got plenty of food, so we're not going to be hurting during this drought. We're going to take this guy and move him so he's a little closer to these trees, and he can start clearing this stuff out. We're going to need to also put a staircase here so we can access these trees and also be able to build up here. And we're going to move this guy a little closer to be able to access the trees over here. Now we're going to pause construction on these floodgates because our drought's almost over and we don't want them building those and pushing the water somewhere else. Because if that water gets pushed, it's going to come over here and destroy our crops. There's cycle 6 begins and our drought's ended. We're doing pretty good. Hopefully we can get a lot of this dam built before that bad tide. If we can push the water out somewhere else. All right, the trees all over here have been taken out. Unfortunately, we can't get down to here until this is completed. So we're going to do a little cleanup and move this guy back down with his friend. We've got so many beavers now, these huts that have a lower priority are actually being used So we're getting a lot of science very quickly, which means we can unlock our bridges. So we're going to unlock a couple of bridges. But first one I want to unlock is this 4x1. We've only got about 50 more science to be able to get that. And we should have that the next day. And you see, like I was talking about, the water gets pushed because it's going up higher. That means it's starting to overflow over here. But once we get these walls built, it'll start coming over this. We actually paused this construction right here so we can keep the water flowing at a lower volume. All right, now that we got these stairs built, they can access these other trees. Alright, so that's the last of the trees cut down. We've got everything cleared out. We're going to finish building this up. Since we have the 600 points we need, we're going to buy this 4x1 suspension bridge now and drop it right there. And place another one right here. So now we have a nice path over our triple floodgates. And they can build down, so anything that they built underneath this is easily accessible. Makes things very convenient for us. So that's our final build, except for one little factor, this right here, which we're going to take care of right now because we need to backtrack these beavers so we can close this off. Another thing we're going to do is have them build these sections right away. That way, if we do get a bad tide, we'll be able to get rid of it. We stopped the water from going down to the base here, so now all the crops can be replanted. We're going to start backtracking our beavers. Thankfully, Cycle 6 is giving us a drought, so we're not going to be seeing a bad tide this time. We're going to unlock this 2x1 suspension bridge because we're going to need that as well. Now you may be wondering, why are they working on this when this is high priority? Because they can't reach it. We got to clear all this out so we can put a couple levees here. We got one more day till the drought. And with that, we can finally clean up our dam. Drought started. We've got 5 days, not too terrible. Let's keep watching them build this as we go along. Got half a day left in our drought. They're making fine progress on this dam. Now, if you're wondering why I put triple floodgates back here, it's because I'm going to extend this and bring it out here to have a larger reservoir of water. And that way I can keep the rest of this area really green. Whenever the drought ends, or whenever the bad tide ends, I can raise these back up, clean that water. Now we do have one little problem. We might have to take this out so that we get water pouring down. I think we're going to have to do that. A temporary measure. Because they weren't fast enough to get to this side to build this up. So water's pouring out of here because it's lower than over here. We'll get that put in place when we get the bad tide. While we're building that, let's see how the rest of the colony is doing. We've got 22 total beavers, over 900 science. Our food's doing okay, but we are lacking the carrots because they need to finish building this. This farmhouse is essential for harvesting. We are going to activate this gather flag so we get more berries. That way at least we have a constant food income. Plenty of planks, and all the logs we're chopping down, or all the trees we're chopping down, are instantly being turned into logs and planks. Water's looking good, and we've got 4 scientists working all the time. So the colony's looking really, really good. Now we just got to get them down and finish the rest of this. So the plan is to extend this reservoir this way. We can do that after we clear this out, get a much larger reservoir. This will always stay green. And with the sluice gates, all we have to do is put in a couple sluice gates here and activate them so that they only open up when the contamination is below 1%, and it'll be clean water all the time. But before that can happen, I need to clear these out. So that means making a staircase up and around. And we're going to unlock the metal scavenger flag right now and put those in place. These are not high priority right now, so I'm not too concerned about getting them built right away. Yeah, we forced them to get that farmhouse built, so now we have planters and harvesters working our fields. So our food intake should exponentially increase. There it is. Our first bad tide on cycle 7. So we're going to actually set this into motion and get these filled in. Our first bad tide started. Thankfully, all the water is being diverted away, so none of our crops are being affected. Thankfully, it was only a 1-day bad tide. Downfall is we don't have any water going down, and it's going to take them several days to build the rest of this. So we may have to do this one more time. By now, I think it's time we start adding some potatoes, and with that, their expected life expectancy. And to do that, we're going to have to introduce a grill. Now, this will be a temporary spot until I can figure out a better place for it. But with grilled potatoes on the menu, their well-being will jump up, and we'll have beavers that work harder and live longer. We're also going to bypass this ungodly staircase detour, make it a little more direct for them. Making fantastic progress on this. I think we've got enough planks to supply us for a little while, so I'm going to shut off the lumber mill and the power wheel and let them finish construction here. Probably got about 4 or 5 more days before we'll probably see another drought or bad tide. I'm hoping it's a drought so we don't have to worry as much, and we can complete this project before the next bad tide. doing good. They're nearing completion of this. And with that, we'll get a nice large amount of water here. Hoping we can get this finished in time for that next bad tide. We're really close to another disaster, either a drought or a bad tide right now. Things are looking really good. We've got plenty of food, plenty of water. Logs are coming in. We've got a lot of planks. All we need now is get this grill up and running so they get more food. Thankfully, they're able to reach this triple floodgate here, so we're going to get rid of the suspension bridge. And we got a drought approaching. Thankfully, we don't have a bad tide, so we can finish construction on this without any issues. This piece put in place, we're now getting a full reservoir. They just need to finish building this so we can keep all that water in. Might up the working hours here just to keep that going. Just need a couple more in. And done. Beautiful. So now we have a backup in case we start running low down here on our river. And our drought started. Pause the water pumps. Look at that beautiful thing. Since this section's completed, we're going to destroy these. Get those materials back. Food is overflowing. Water's doing well. We've got plenty of trees. So lumber's coming in. I think we're doing well. A few more pieces to go on this levee. Got 5 more days in our drought. We should be able to complete this levee and triple floodgate, and then we'll have complete control over any bad water that comes in. And there it is. Our channel dam is complete. This gives us complete control over any bad water that comes in, allowing us to divert it. It also allows us to keep a reservoir of water over here to help irrigate this land down here, which we will extend with this. Once we can get this built, we'll be able to extend our water. We're going to wait for the sluice gates for that. So that way we can automate the water flow going in through this channel. So the sluice gates will automatically control when the water gets diverted when it becomes bad water. And then it'll automatically switch when the water's pure again and fill our channel up. It's a great way to control this, and I'll never have to open or close these gates. But that's a project for another time. We're going to end the session here. Thank you for coming down and watching. I hope you're enjoying this playthrough of Timberborn. Please make sure to drop me a comment, leave me a like, and also make sure you subscribe. So this is going to be Lakota Ravoc signing off. Thank you again. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Dada.
You're welcome, buddy.